Beloved Creator within and without, today I was directed by the Creator energy within me to recognize the importance of trust. We're like a muscle that tightens and relaxes. As creatures programmed for survival, we are either in trust or in fear. The fear is the tightening, the tension, the adrenaline that is built into us to survive whatever peril is at hand. The relaxation of that tension, the calm, the trust, is its opposite. Because of our nature, we are open or wary, depending on our life experiences. If more wary, we find ourselves needing proof of trust for our own well-being. Of all that we encounter in life, the greatest is our trust in a higher power. It is the most assuring force, the most calming force that exists. We are so very grateful for you, for our awareness of trust, and our need to find relief in this knowing. Let it be so, and so it is.
Hello, my name's Ron Vroman. I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide Jural Assembly. This is an after-action report for our 7th grand jury. We held it on the 12th at 7 p.m. We called for the grand jury that Monday, and when Tanya called the roll, we had 35 out of our pool that showed up to be jurors on the grand jury, so we way exceeded the mark. And basically we've had enough in the traffic area, just no more. We're not going to stand for any additional infringements upon our unalienable rights to travel. Just not going to happen. They broke that camel's back, and we're taking them as far as we can go on that one. All the paperwork's in and published and mailed with return receipt requested. We're going to take that one to all of the de facto courts, and we're assisting one of our members with claims of cognizance and every other thing we can figure out to throw at this Color of Law Incorporated governance that is the city of Portland is a subdivision of the county of Multnomah, is a subdivision of the state of Oregon, is a subdivision of the United States. Washington District of Columbia, Inc. Not going for it anymore. So this is the tip of the spear on travel. This is where we no longer will attend to that. We're going to force this one to a conclusion. Then I find out that there's a movement abroad to bring a grand jury up once a month. And there's several candidates for what the grand jury will be about once a month. And for an example, line up all those folks on Oregon that have their unalienable rights unequivocally violated and due process not attended to, and it's without equivocation. It's done. The facts are in. There's nothing to try. It's in the public, and the grand jury hears it. And we'll take that one, let's say, for family services. Every mother and father that's lost a kid, and every kid that's been hassled, and that whole thing. And we'll get as many mama bears as possible to just raise hell lawfully in a grand jury and provide us with the documentation needed to do all of the work of a grand jury to make the presentments of all those that need to know and say they have a court and make them prove they have a court, and when they fail, destroy them. And they all have to have a proper oath and the proper bond, and it has to be with the proper constitution and God included. And that's de jure, and we're not going to accept anything less. So traffic and travel is on right now. And I'm pretty sure that if you have very similar instances going as to what Michelle does, that she'd be open to a class action suit. I'm pretty sure. And the way things go, there's probably a lot of women and men that have been violated by traffic in their car, traveling in the private without doing anything to cause it. They're sovereigns. This should never happen. But it does. That's why we have a grand jury. And we will provide presentments to all the prosecutors and all the courts to correct this. And if they don't, then we'll take the proper action, lawfully and legitimately, as the provisional government on Oregon. So that was grand jury number 7. This one was on Skype. I'd like to have another one in public when it gets a little warmer and the weather's a little nicer. It's better when it doesn't rain and you're having a grand jury in the park. But another one's coming for sure. Pardon me. So let's back up to a little bit before the grand jury. And we have a member in Southern Oregon who has an idea. And that idea should go before the grand jury also. So if we have our 7th grand jury in February, and we have a grand jury every month on a different subject, by the time we've had another 7 grand juries, boy, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, it'll be fall. We still have to get the rest of this group of 32 states and commonwealths to get their jural assemblies together and get their paperwork done. That should happen. In fact, I'll enter a plea here to John at National Liberty Alliance. Why don't you set up a grand jury in every county, John? And if you can't do every county, at least set up one in the other 32 states and commonwealths so we can get the United States of America original jurisdiction back in de jure, like we did on Oregon. And I yield.
Thank you, Ron.
They do not want to let go of this. They do not intend on losing here. And we do not intend giving it back to them.
And then the bullets started flying. And then he jumps out of the car. And he's got both his hands up. And he got out of the car, and he had his hands in the air. He's like, just shoot me then. This is what you want, to shoot me. And they did. They shot him dead. With his hands in the air, and I saw it. I swear to God. He was just walking with his hands in the air. And they shot him. And they shot him dead, and then after he was down on the ground, they shot him 3 more times.